Hey, welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today I have this great industrial sector stock, and this stock I really think can pay us dividends, potentially for the rest of our lives, as we get closer and closer to that financial independence goal. Now, a lot of these tech sector stocks have been hit hard here, so I wanted to diversify and make a video about an industrial sector stock. Industrial stocks are very important to our economy and day-to-day life, providing either manufacturing and distribution of goods, commercial and professional services, which is where today's stock actually falls under, or providing transportation services. Now, this stock has been around for quite some time. They've had great returns, and best of all, they've had a history of increasing dividend payments over time. This is a stock I personally own and have my own conviction in. So you know I'm not just picking stocks at random like others do here on YouTube. So you don't want to miss this. Make sure you touch that like button and are subscribed to the channel. That's the best way that you can help this small-time YouTuber out. Now, the stock we're going to be talking about today, and if you couldn't tell by the title, it's actually going to be a trash stock. So I don't mean trash in terms of the company fundamentals, but in terms of the company's actual business. As you're probably aware of Waste Management, they provide waste pickup, disposal, and recycling services to communities across the US and Canada. Now, I know it might be hard to get excited about garbage, but think about it. Somebody has to take care of all garbage us humans produce. This is a recession-proof stock, as people will have to pay to have their garbage taken away. Otherwise, we're going to be having a lot of smelly problems. What I really like about Waste Management is that their customer base is so wide and diverse. Think about it. Basically, every field needs somebody to take care of their waste, whether that's in the residential area, public sector, construction, etc. That's going to be continuous, reoccurring revenue for their nearly 21 million customers. When we look at its revenue growth, we can see that it's actually pretty slow, but it is steady, going from $13.6 billion in 2016 to $15.2 billion this past fiscal year. If you want to see a company that has rapid growth, take a look at the video I made about Google and how outstanding their financials are. But not every company needs to be a Google. It's probably best that not every company is Google. But what I generally like is that this is going in an upward direction and it's not too volatile. That to me further provides that they have reoccurring revenues and that they're a reliable company. They also have a growing EBITDA and have positive cash flows. As for their balance sheet, they have an A- credit rating from S&P and a stable rating from Moody's. Waste Management also really emphasizes sustainability and environmentally friendly business practices. I know this has recently become very important to certain investors. They're trying to get more of their trucks to be fueled by renewable energy. They're designing their landfills to be as environmentally friendly as possible. And of course, they're big on recycling and growing that as an economic opportunity. They're also even offering consulting services for those trying to get rid of their waste that can be quite hazardous to the environment and humans. Leading in sustainability is one of Waste Management's core strategies, as is returning strong financial performance to reward us shareholders. Waste Management keeps a competitive moat with their large arsenal of garbage trucks and hazardous waste landfills. They have the largest trucking fleet in the waste industry. They have over 290 active solid waste landfills, 146 recycling plants, and 5 active hazardous waste landfills. Now, landfills are heavily regulated, and no community just wants these built in their downtown. That's usually not a selling point in real estate, is to say, hey, you know, right next to this Whole Foods that's opening up, is this going to be this giant garbage landfill? Okay, now that we've established that they have a reliable cash cow business, let's take a look at those juicy dividends. Waste Management's board of directors just gave the thumbs up to increase their dividend for the 18th straight year. They can be a dividend aristocrat, which is 25 straight years of increased dividends by the end of this decade. Every year we can rely on them for that increased payment for simply just owning the stock. We are buying assets and having those assets return money to us. That is such a great feeling. Now, Waste Management has a payout ratio of about 50%, which isn't too high. That means they can invest their money back into the business for acquisitions like the one they just did with Advanced Disposal Services. This is going to give them 3 million more customers and about $1.5 billion more in revenues. This really is a giant holding company taking care of other people's trash. They're also going to be buying back $1.4 billion in shares of their own company. Now, a company wouldn't be doing share buybacks, at least I hope not, unless they were confident in the company's cash flow outlook. Hindsight is always 20/20. So let's look at what a $10,000 investment in waste management 10 years ago would be worth today. It would have grown into $47,000 and netted you an average annual return of 17% compared to the S&P 500's return of just 14%. So Waste Management, I think, is a great company. I think it will continue to just slightly outpace the S&P 500. It probably won't be beating it by much, but I also don't think that it will be lagging behind. And most importantly, it's going to be continuing to pay us those great dividends in the form of passive income. We can see here on this yield on cost view that those that bought their shares 10 years ago now have a 7.82% yield on cost. That basically means they're getting close to 8% return on their money every year as long as they just continue to hold on to Waste Management. This is where the true beauty of long-term dividend investing really starts to show and shine here. Waste Management is trading at a pretty rich valuation right now with a 37 PE ratio. Its yield is also less than 2%, so it's going to be taking quite some time for that yield on cost to really be strong. In fact, it's considerably lower than it has been historically. About a decade ago, you could get close to a 4% yield for owning Waste Management, compared to just under 2% today. That tells me that the stock price has just rocketed up, but the dividend wasn't able to keep pace. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Some might actually view that as a positive. Currently, with the share price about $130, it's also considerably higher than its 50-day moving average and 200-day moving averages. I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on this one to see if it comes down, and it might be at a better buying opportunity then. Though these days everything seems to be overvalued, and PE ratio or even being profitable, that just gets thrown out the window. I personally have owned Waste Management since 2019. My average cost is $105 per share. I'm up 23% or $200 on my money. And this doesn't count how much I've made in dividends. Currently, Waste Management pays 57.5 cents a share, which gives me $4.60 every quarter or $18.40 every year. Now, that's not a lot of money, but that's money I earned passively while I slept, and it doesn't get any better than that. Overall, I think having stocks like Waste Management is a great defensive play, especially because of what we've seen here in the tech sector recently. It doesn't make sense to have all my money allocated into just one particular sector. I need to be well diversified to have a great dividend growth portfolio. Now, make sure you're subscribed to this channel and have hit that like button if you've enjoyed this content. It really helps out the channel so much. Now, remember, you can catch me wherever you get your podcast on the Collect Cash podcast. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions about Waste Management, if you own them, or just have any general video requests. And I will buy, stash, collect cash you later. So this is not financial advice and for educational purposes only.